I'm glad you like them. I have nothing to do with them. I wouldn't mind gardening, but I don't get the time to. The first time I went to the US, it was like maybe 8 or 9 degrees. These chickens aren't even ours. If they're here during a public holiday, they just might not make it out.
Well, we're here in Eric Wainaina's garden in Nairobi. Eric is the most popular singer-songwriter in Kenya and possibly even all of Africa. Thanks for having us here.
It's good to be here. You're welcome. I realized I said it's nice to be here, but you're at my place, so yeah.
And I couldn't remember the next part. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your lyrics. A lot of them have to do with social issues in Kenya.
There's been a lot to talk about. There's been a lot of political upheaval in Kenya. Even though there's been peace, there's been a lot of dissatisfaction with the government. There's been a lot of dissatisfaction with our standard of living. Instead of turning our violence on our anger on each other, we need to find out exactly what's the cause of the anger in Kenya. Who is to blame? Who's behind this?
Is there any song in particular that's really important to you?
One is called Nchi ya Kitu Kidogo, which in Kiswahili means the country of small things.
Mzee alisema hakuna cha bure, huo msemo tumeutafsiri kinyume.
It's a euphemism for bribery. What used to happen is that someone would offer you a service and you'd give them a tip. It's pretty much a tip, but then there came a point when people would start demanding that in order to perform essential services. For example, you try and get a national ID card or to try and get a passport. People would say, "Hey, can I have some kitu kidogo?" That song addresses the vice of corruption and the fact that it permeates all areas of society in Kenya, and not just the government. And so it was my way of saying that that corruption in Kenya wasn't just sort of operating in the high levels of government. It was all the way down in society.
How was that song received?
It was received very well by Kenyans, very badly by the government. Just to show you how bad the government reaction was, I was singing at the Kenyan Music Festival, which is a school's music festival, and they'd asked me to go play as a former winner at the Kenyan Music Festival, to go and show current competitors that, hey, if you took your music seriously while you were in school, you could make a career out of it. And so they asked me to sing, and one of the songs I've been singing was that one. As soon as I started singing it, an official at the side of the stage started sort of saying this to me, cut. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm not going to stop. I mean, I've started singing the song, but it started getting quite animated. It was like, cut, because the vice president was there, and I think they were all getting very, very embarrassed. And at one point, I actually thought maybe I should stop, but I was there with my dancers, and when I looked back, the dancers were dancing so hard and so vigorously, and the audience was singing the song. I sort of got encouraged to go on, and so we finished the song and got off stage, and when we walked off, some hoods from the CID, I think it was, came and said, Are you Eric Wainaina? And my brother said, no, I'm Eric Wainaina. And then he sort of led them away and talked to them for a bit. But yeah, the reaction from the government was severe. It was never more intimidating than that, thankfully. But I think the song came at a very important time for Kenya. And I'm honored to have been part of it.
Do you have more songs like that in mind, and do you think you can be the guy to make that change through your music?
Well, okay, I do also have a couple of love songs, I should say, but as a musician who sort of committed myself to social issues, I do have a couple more like that. Like on the new record, I have a couple of songs which sort of trace Kenya's history. I mean, here we were sort of minding our own business, and the colonialists came. This is a saying we have. The colonialists came and told us to close our eyes and pray, and when we opened them, the land was gone. What it is right now is that as artists, we have an opportunity in Kenya to address these issues without being worried about being thrown into jail. 10, 15 years ago, artists, lecturers from the universities were being thrown into jail, being detained without trial for indefinite periods of time. And so what it is that musicians like myself, artists like myself, are just taking the lead from people who begun the work 20, 30 years ago. It's just that climate right now in Kenya allows us to do so without intimidation.
But you are sweet poison with an